Since the origins of our ancestors in caves, mankind has always been curious by nature, aching to know what lay beyond them in our vast, expansive sky, painting constellations in its canvas, telling the stories of our Earth and the universes beyond it. Our sky is a canvas, holding the stories and dreams of millions. Up there is the constellation Hercules, telling the story of the famous demigod, painting a commemoration of his power and valor. On the left there rests the constellation Cassiopeia, an envious queen put into the sky as a punishment for her prideful nature. And next to her, her daughter, Andromeda, rests in the sky with her as a galaxy, carrying mysteries of the space beyond our tiny Milky Way, beyond the place we call home, possibly even hosting undiscovered alien life, life that is being pursued to this very moment. In 1969, a step made into this unknown by a simple man became one of the most revolutionary steps made in the history of mankind. The unimaginable had happened. A person stepping into the big, wide universe, onto the moon. Neil Armstrong's first steps remain the most impactful steps mankind has ever made, redefining the universal definition of possibility and what we could really do with technology. Ladies and gentlemen, as we gaze at the sky, marveling at the potential and the limitless stars that have captivated mankind for millennia, it's easy to lose ourselves in the ponderings of the future. As we chase these stars and aliens into the future, we tend to fixate on the visions of tomorrow while discarding the pressing issues that loom over us today. As the world expands, more and more resources are required to fund the energy consumption industry of the Earth. Today, we stand at a crucial point in our planet's future. Climate change, driven by these human activities, poses a growing threat to our environments, well-beings, and futures. The global crisis is evolving around us, with rising temperatures steadily nearing 1.5 degrees Celsius. The CO2 greenhouse gas emissions coming to an all-time high, and the alarming melting of the Arctic ice caps posing a threat to the Arctic environment. Fossil fuels are hydrocarbons consisting of coal, oil, and natural gas, which are formed through the remains of dead plants and animals over millions of years, making them a non-renewable energy source. This enabled people to power factories, heating, transportation, and many of the technologies we use today. However, the burning of fossil fuels also emits CO2 into the atmosphere, a greenhouse gas that covers the Earth and traps the sun's heat, which causes global warming. Even combative measures taken, such as the Willow Project, have become desperate, running on the exploitation of natural habitats in Alaska and the Arctic, frantically searching for the vast reserves of oil and natural gases hidden beneath the ice and permafrost, feeding into the cycle of CO2 being emitted into the atmosphere. With the polar bear populations predicted to decrease over 30% in the next few decades, and carbon emissions slowly rising over 49% since 1999, our futures remain at stake. As the amount of global warming steadily increases, collective action must be taken to ensure the well-beings of our futures. However, the beneficial aspect of how this new influx in energy-consuming technology is the amount of new sustainable sources of energy that have emerged with them. There are many types of renewable energy sources available, such as solar power, which provides energy by harnessing the sun's radiation to generate electricity, a clean, renewable, abundant energy source. Along with solar energy, many less forms of natural energy exist, such as hydropower, which utilizes the energy in the flow of the water to create electricity, or geothermal energy, which uses heat stored beneath the Earth's surface to produce electricity for the heating devices. And another known one, wind power, which uses the kinetic energy produced by wind turbines to generate electricity. All of these developing methods of producing electricity remain sustainable, renewable substitutes for harmful and rapidly depleting sources such as fossil fuels. However, Due to how prominent and widespread fossil fuels are in our modern-day society, completely eliminating the use of fossil fuels would not be economically feasible and would do more harm than good. Therefore, there is no immediate solution to climate change. To commence the containment of climate change, we must start slowly, introducing new forms of energy and slowly reducing the amount of fossil fuels to slowly but surely stop global warming in its tracks. Rome wasn't built in just one day. A sustainable development goal could work towards slowly decreasing the amount of funds going towards retrieving fossil fuels and instead implementing and expanding the amount of solar energy plants in places abundant in sun and more hydropower plants installed in places abundant in large quantities of rivers and tides, creating a more sustainable and gradual introduction of renewable energy into our world, spreading the implementation of renewable energy through technologies such as cars running on renewable energy sources and buildings with higher insulation rates, doing something as simple as insulating your home, buying better cars, and even turning off your lights could aid in this cause, reducing the unnecessary use of energy. The fossil fuel industry itself could be developed to be less of a threat to the environment through the improvement of gas infrastructure, decreasing the chance of having gas leaks, all while the environment can be slowly cleansed using carbon capture and storage to gradually cleanse our atmosphere of CO2. As a more sustainable energy source to replace fossil fuels in general, nuclear energy, a clean form of energy generated through nuclear fusion. It has displayed reliability with over 92% of nuclear power plants operating at full capacity. There is no question that nuclear energy would be able to effectively sustain the energy consumption of the world, with only 1 week of nuclear energy production powering about 18% of the U.S.'s annual energy consumption rate. While fossil fuel factories can be shut down gradually, nuclear plants can slowly replace them. By utilizing the resources available, the clean energy sources, climate action can be quickly taken and could effectively decrease the amount of greenhouse gas emissions, stopping global warming in its tracks. Use the technology we've been growing and developing to take the world a step forward with us into our futures. Such small gestures and technologies could save our lives, our planet, our unique living, breathing society, and all it takes is one small step for mankind. Ladies and gentlemen, what picture of the earth do you want to paint in our sky? Do you want to paint a picture of a broken, polluted, abandoned world left by its residents in their pursuit of the promise of tomorrow? What stories of the earth would you like to tell? Our universe is unique, a one-of-a-kind world existing within the midst of thousands of other possible worlds, carrying stories of the past that we have yet to tell, and carrying stories of the future that we have yet to make. We can still gaze up at the sky, at the future, marveling at the potential in the limitless stars, while also appreciating and caring for the grass laying beneath our hands, the ecosystem thriving and evolving around us, carrying the histories of millions of years of development and evolution. And maybe then the constellations in the sky will paint a picture of Earth just as desirable as the universes beyond it. Thank you.